Christian Horner's Formula One career isn't over. It may just be beginning in the most shocking way possible, because the man once seen as untouchable at Red Bull is now being linked with something that could shake the very foundations of the sport. A brand new American team, Cadillac, stepping into Formula One in 2026. And if these reports are even half true, then Horner's redemption arc could be more dramatic than anything we've seen in modern F1 history. But is Cadillac really bold enough to make this move, and is Horner desperate enough to take it? That's the story we're diving into today. When Cadillac first announced they'd be joining Formula One in 2026, the news sent shockwaves across both the automotive and sporting worlds. An American giant, backed by General Motors, planting their flag on the most prestigious stage of motorsport. It was bold, it was ambitious, and it was exactly the kind of move that could shift Formula One's balance of power. But here's the catch. They're rookies, no F1 heritage, no proven track record, and in a world where Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, and McLaren dominate with decades of experience, entering this battlefield unprepared could mean certain failure. Cadillac knew that from day one, which is why their announcement wasn't just about engines or branding, it was about credibility. They partnered with Ferrari for power units, they installed Graeme Louden as team principal, they started talks with drivers who could provide experience. But let's be brutally honest, Louden, while competent, is not a name that strikes fear into rivals. He's not the kind of leader who instantly signals, "This team is here to win." He's a placeholder, a steady pair of hands, but not the man to drag Cadillac up the mountain. And that's where the whispers of Christian Horner come in. For nearly 2 decades, Horner was the face of Red Bull racing. He wasn't just a team principal, he was the architect of an empire. 4 straight championships with Sebastian Vettel, a resurrection under the new regulations with Max Verstappen, countless battles against Ferrari, McLaren, and Mercedes. Love him or hate him, Horner was a force of nature in the paddock. But power in Formula One is fragile. One misstep, one controversy, one internal fracture, and suddenly the king is exiled. The past few years weren't kind to Horner. The whispers of internal clashes, the questions about his leadership style, and finally the breaking point. No longer a part of Red Bull, no longer a titan walking the pit lane with unshakable confidence. So here he stands, a free agent in the brutal world of Formula One, where reputation can vanish overnight. For some, this would be the end. For Horner, it could be the beginning of his most dangerous chapter yet. Enter the German media reports that ignited a firestorm. Cadillac, still shaping its leadership structure for 2026, could be looking at Christian Horner as their new team principal. On the surface it sounds outrageous. Graeme Louden has already been announced, the team is still forming its identity, and yet the logic is undeniable. Cadillac doesn't just need a manager, they need a figurehead. They need someone with scars, someone who has fought and won at the highest level. And Horner, he checks every box. 2 decades in the trenches, championships won, drivers molded, sponsors courted, rivalries fought. Imagine the headlines, Horner leads Cadillac into F1. Imagine the morale boost inside the factory. Imagine the instant credibility when he walks into a paddock meeting flanked by GM executives. This isn't just about filling a chair, this is about rewriting Cadillac's entire narrative from rookie outsiders to dangerous challengers. For Horner, this isn't just another job offer. This could be his redemption story, because let's be real, his exit from Red Bull wasn't on his own terms. It was messy, it was controversial, and for a man as proud as Horner, there's only one way to silence the doubters. Prove them wrong on the track. Cadillac gives him that chance. The underdog role fits perfectly. Remember, Red Bull itself was once a newcomer, dismissed as an energy drink company playing dress-up in motorsport. Horner was there in 2005 when everyone laughed at them. He knows what it's like to build a team from the ground up. He knows how to take ridicule and turn it into respect. Now, nearly 20 years later, he has the chance to do it again. Only this time with Cadillac, a brand desperate to make America proud on the world stage. And make no mistake, if Horner pulls it off, he wouldn't just be remembered as Red Bull's mastermind, he'd be remembered as the man who tamed 2 giants. But redemption stories aren't written in ink, they're written in sweat, in risk, and in the gamble of who you trust. And that's where the driver question becomes absolutely critical. Graeme Louden isn't a bad team principal. He's respected, he's capable, but here's the brutal truth. Formula One is not about capability, it's about aura, about power, about having a name that can sway sponsors, lure drivers, and intimidate rivals. Louden doesn't do that, Horner does. This is the crossroads for Cadillac. Do they stick with their safe choice, or do they rip up the script and hand the keys to a man who has been both revered and vilified? Make no mistake, it's a dangerous gamble. Horner's last few years were stained by controversy. His leadership has been questioned. But in a sport where legends are built on risk, maybe Cadillac needs to embrace chaos to stand a chance. Because let's be honest, when Perez and Bottas weigh their 2026 options, who do you think they'd rather drive for? Loudon, the steady hand, or Horner, the proven winner with fire in his eyes? The answer could define Cadillac's entire future. This is where the story turns into pure theatre. Cadillac doesn't just need a team principal, they need drivers. And the two names on top of their list couldn't be more different: Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas. Perez brings money, a lot of money. Reports suggest up to $30 million in sponsorship backing if Cadillac signs him. In a world where budgets still dictate survival, that kind of cash is hard to ignore. But money doesn't always equal performance. Perez has been battered by the Red Bull system. His confidence has been chipped away. He's no longer the fearless Mexican Minister of Defense who held off Lewis Hamilton in Abu Dhabi 2021. Bottas, on the other hand, brings experience, 10 race wins, a career of partnering Lewis Hamilton, a reputation as one of the most consistent qualifiers in the sport. Toto Wolff himself said Bottas deserves a 2026 seat. He's calm, reliable, and deeply respected, but he doesn't bring the same financial thunder as Perez. So Cadillac faces a brutal choice: cash or credibility, risk or reliability. And whichever driver they choose, the message will echo across the grid. But Cadillac's driver puzzle doesn't end there. They've made it clear they want one veteran and one young gun, and that's where the chaos begins. Mick Schumacher, once hailed as the heir to his father's legacy, is drifting toward WEC. His F1 prospects are fading, and being a reserve isn't changing anything. Felipe Drugovich, the forgotten F2 champion, is suddenly back in play, a driver with raw talent but no real shot yet. Then there's Yuki Tsunoda, chaotic, fiery, inconsistent, but undeniably experienced compared to rookies. A change of environment could ignite him. The stakes are clear. Whoever Cadillac pairs with their veteran will shape the team's identity. Do they go for a safe, steady learner, or do they gamble on fire and unpredictability? Behind all of this lurks the shadow of money. Perez's $30 million backing, Bottas's reputation, the $300 million price tag Horner would need to become part owner at Alpine, the endless rumors about Aston Martin. Formula One isn't just about speed. It's about who pays, who invests, and who controls the future. For Cadillac, the equation is simple but brutal. Do they play it safe financially, or do they swing for glory by trusting Horner's vision? Because if they sign Perez and he fails, the team could collapse under wasted sponsorships. If they sign Bottas, they risk missing out on crucial cash. If they sign Horner, they gain experience but risk controversy. Every move is a double-edged sword. So what does the future look like? Two roads. In the first, Cadillac stays safe. Loudon remains team principal. They pick one veteran and one rookie. They settle into midfield obscurity, maybe scoring points, maybe dreaming of podiums but never shaking the world. In the second, Cadillac throws the rulebook out the window. Horner takes the reins. Bottas or Perez anchors the team. A hungry youngster joins the fight. And suddenly this rookie American team isn't just participating, they're disrupting. They're forcing Ferrari, Mercedes and Red Bull to look over their shoulders. They're rewriting history. And make no mistake, in Formula One, fortune favors the brave. So here we are. Christian Horner, the man who built Red Bull's empire, stands at the crossroads of his career. Cadillac, the American giant, stands at the gates of Formula One. And somewhere in between, the future of the sport could be decided. Will Cadillac dare to gamble everything on Horner's experience? Will Perez or Bottas take the leap into the unknown? And will a young gun rise alongside them to carry America's hopes into the new era? One thing's for sure, if Cadillac and Horner unite, Formula One will never be the same again. What do you think? Should Cadillac replace Loudon with Horner and build a lineup of veterans and rising stars, or should they play it safe and avoid the chaos? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, because the next twist in this story could drop at any moment.